Profitable Webinar Formula. For this module, we'll explore the intricacies of forming a webinar presentation. It might seem difficult at first, but if you follow these steps that I'm going to share with you, you'll find it to be easier. Your presentation should always have a structure. The reason for having a structure is so that your presentation has a flow. A flow is important to not make your presentation seem disjointed. If it were disjointed, you might throw off the audience. Even stories like movies and works of literature have an arc that they follow. A story arc goes way back to ancient Greek dramas and is still significant now and will continue to be significant in years to come. A webinar presentation may not follow the same structure and arc, but the idea of it is somewhat similar and can be applied. The common structure of a story, without delving into specific details, is an introduction, a build-up, and an ending. This structure can be applied to your webinar presentation. You need a structure to have a flow. Without flow, your presentation will be confusing. It would be hard to follow and would throw people off. A flow allows people to take in information comfortably. Furthermore, important details that you want to share will have a higher impact with the best build-up. Structure is important, and fortunately, it's not hard to follow. Do remember the importance of the introduction. This determines the audience's perception towards the webinar presentation. Welcome the audience and thank them for their participation. Then hype them up a little bit by giving them encouragement. This is the warm-up of your presentation. Then move on to introducing yourself. You must be friendly and personal here, even though you cannot really see the physical audience, unlike in a real seminar. You must remember that they are there. So put on your best smile and introduce yourself. Tell the audience your name, your nickname. It's best if you have one. For example, "Hello, my name is James Smith, but you can call me Jim." It creates affability. Then, tell the audience what you do for a living, your company's name if you want, your credentials, and everything else that would bring yourself closer to the audience. But bear in mind not to spend too much time introducing yourself. Next, introduce a bit about the presentation. Tell them roughly how long it's going to be and inform them of a Q&A session at the end. If you have a particular method of presenting, let them know that too. The audience would now want to know what to expect from your presentation. Tell them a bit about your content. Share what your contents are about, and tell them what you're going to talk about. This is so that the audience knows roughly how long your presentation is going to be. Most importantly, they know which part is going to be the ending. The audience would be comfortable if they were to know when it's going to end. Also, promise the audience that their attention will be rewarded. You can do this by sharing the benefits of paying attention to what you're going to share. At this point, they already know what they want and why they are listening to you, but it's good to recite it again just to get them more excited. Throughout your webinar presentation, energy is important. Not just energy from you, but also your audience. You have to keep them excited, and sharing what they're going to gain from your presentation is a good way to do so. Tell your audience of opportunities. They want to know what lies ahead. They want to know what are the possibilities out there. They want to know what they can achieve. So talk about the opportunities. The best way to do this is to share statistics. For example, if your webinar is about Facebook advertising, show them the number of Facebook users. Present them with statistics. If you have visuals for your presentation, you can display the numbers and statistics with a graph. This is so the audience can get a clearer picture and they can be excited by the potential of the skills and knowledge they're about to acquire from you. As mentioned, keeping them energized is key. It's best to have case studies prepared. Tell them the success of others pertinent to the topic you're presenting. Since you've hyped them up by sharing the opportunities out there previously, this will keep the hype going. These proofs will keep them hooked and inspire them. You might need to do a little bit of research for this part, but try your best to avoid disregarding it. It adds to the impact of your presentation and your contents. However, remember not to share too many. If you discuss too many case studies, you will bore your audience. They are your audience because they want to learn skills, not study history. As mentioned, personality is so important. Now it's time to be more personal rather than just being affable. Share your stories, the before and after stories. This is so that the audience can relate and even be inspired. The best story is, of course, a success story. What they want to hear is a rags to riches story. Tell them of the struggle you had, of everything you went through before. By doing this, you are reeling the audience in, as they can relate to the past you. At the end, tell them about your success. Tell them how your problems were solved. The idea of doing this is to establish and make clear where you were and where you are now. Essentially, they want to know if they can do it too. And assure them they can do it too. They need reassurance. Tell the audience of their potential. The purpose of being personal is so that you can get across the message, if I can, you can too. What you need to do is encourage the audience. Encourage them to be committed and to work hard. You've already told them how and of the opportunities out there for them, so it's time to give them the push. The whole point of a presentation is to make the audience know that once you have the know-how and the tips, it's not difficult to do.